everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make this poncho or this shawl or whatever you want to call it, but it's worked in one solid piece and then it's sewed together here. And it's really easy. The stitch is real easy. The buttons are not functional. They're just decoration, so you don't even have to put them on if you don't want. But let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, for this project I am using Lion brand Heartland. It's a worsted weight 4-ply acrylic yarn, and I'm using the color Redwood, but you can use any color that you would like. And I use 3 skeins, and they're 251 yards per skein. So if you use a different kind of yarn or a different brand, you're going to need like 750 yards. So that's what I used. And then I used a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, I'm going to be doing this poncho in the Marielle lace stitch, and it's done in multiples of 4. I actually already have my big piece done, so I'm going to show you with a smaller sample. But for the big poncho, you're going to need to start with a chain of 60. So once you get your chain of 60 made, what you want to do is we're going to do a triple crochet in the 6th chain from the hook. And remember that we never count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one right here, we're going to do a triple. So we yarn over twice, go right through, drop a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, yarn over and go through another 2 loops, and yarn over and go through the last 2 loops. Okay, now we're going to do another triple crochet into that same stitch. Like that. Then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, and now we're going to go back again into that same stitch into a double crochet. Just like that. Now we're going to skip 3 stitches. Skip, 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 and then the next one we're going to repeat this. So we're going to go and do 2 triples. So there's 1 triple, 2 triples, and then we do a chain 2, 1, 2, and we go back into the same stitch and do 1 double crochet like that. So that's the repeat that we're going to do this whole entire row. We're going to skip 3 stitches, skip, 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 and then the next one we'll go ahead and put 2 triples, chain 2, and then 1 double, all into the same stitch, just like that. Skip 3, skip, 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 and do it again in the next one. 2 triples, 1, 2, chain 2, and then double crochet into the next, or into the same stitch, I'm sorry. Just like that. Skip 3 again and repeat it all the way to the end. Okay, when you make it to the end and you can't do any more repeats, you should have 2 stitches left. And what you want to do now is go ahead and triple crochet into the very last stitch. This is a real easy stitch. It should be pretty easy for you. Okay, and now we're going to start again by chaining 3 and turning. 1, 2, 3, and turn. Now we're going to be working that same pattern, only we're going to be working it in these chain 2 spaces right here. So go ahead and do 2 triples into this chain 2 space. 1, 2, chain 2, and then put 1 double. We're all in that same space. Just like that. And then we jump to the next chain 2 space and do it again. 2 triples. Chain 2. Right back in the same space and double crochet. Like that. Jump to the next space and do it again. So you just want to repeat that in every one of these chain 2 spaces until you get to the end of your row. Okay, when you make it to the end of your row, that's what it's starting to look like. You want to end your row by doing a triple crochet in the top of this chain right here. And triple. And that is it. Every row is the same as that last row from now on. You just chain 3 to start. Chain 3 to start every row and turn your work. And again, we just work in these chain 2 spaces doing the 2 triples. 1, 2, a chain 2, and then 1 double in each of the chain 2 spaces. And you work that to the end of your row, and then when you get to the end all the way down here, you end it by triple crocheting into the top of this chain 3. So that's it. It's just a repeat of that row. It's super easy. And you need to do a total of 72 rows. Okay, after you get done with your 72 rows, I'm going to go down one of the long sides with the row of single crochet. So I'm just going to start right up here into the corner. And you can see there's the chain 3s that we did, and then the triple crochet. And the next one will be like chain 3 and triple crochet. So we'll start right here in this chain 3. We'll go ahead and chain 1, and then go back into the same stitch and do a single crochet. Now we want to try to get the stitches kind of evenly spaced as best as we can. So let me try to move my camera so maybe you can see it better here. A good rule that I'm going to kind of follow is when there's chain 3s, I'm going to put 2 single crochets down that chain 3. So there's 2. And then when I get to where there's the triple crochets, I'll put 3 single crochets down that triple crochet. Evenly space them out. So 1, 2, and 3. And then you'll see that you're at a chain 3 again. So just kind of put 2 single crochets down that. And then you'll be at a triple crochet again. So just kind of space out, evenly space out 3 single crochets down that triple crochet. That way it kind of is going to make it even amount of stitches, I guess. You just do it this way. And then I'll be at where there's a chain 3 again, just kind of evenly space out 2 single crochets down it. Triple, evenly space out 3. And I'm just going to do this all the way down the one long side. I will eventually do it around the whole piece, but for now I'm going to do it down this one long side, and then we'll sew it together. So go ahead and finish with the single crochets like that down to the end of this long side, and I'll meet back up with you in just a second. Okay, once you went up that one long side with the row of single crochet, just go ahead and tie off. And then starting down here, we're going to count up, and you're going to need 2 stitch markers right here. So you start at the bottom of the side that we just put the single crochet down, and from the bottom stitch you need to count up 54 single crochets and put a stitch marker in that stitch. And then you come to the other side that we did the single. We're still working on the same side that we put the single crochet in. Start down here and count up 54 stitches and put a stitch marker. So you got 2 at 54. So here's our neck hole right here. Now this side we're going to sew together. So what we want to do is we want to sew it wrong side out, so you can't see the seam when you flip it. We'll flip it inside out. So I'm going to flip it inside out. If there's a side that you prefer that's better, put that side to the inside of your work. So, let me get it laid out here. Okay, I got it together where we did the single crochets, and we're going to sew it, these two sides all the way up to our stitch markers, and then this will be the neck hole. So I'm just going to start right down here at the bottom. You could start at the bottom or the top, it really doesn't matter, but since I'm down here, I'll just start down here. And I'm going to slip stitch it together. So I'm going to start with the first stitch, and I'm going to go into, you can see there's a back loop and a front loop and a back loop. I'm going to go into the back loop of this side only. And then on this piece, the first stitch on this piece, I'm going to go this side. I'm going into the front loop only, the loop closest to me on this side. And then on this piece, I'm going into the loop that's furthest away from me, so the back loop. So like that. And I'm going to pull through, and I'm going to chain 1 to start. Now I'm going to go to the next stitch, going into the loop that's closest to me only. And then on the next piece, there's 2 loops going into the loop that's furthest away from me. And slip stitching, like that. And I'm going to go to the next stitch, going into the 1 loop only that's closest to me. And on this piece, the loop that's farthest away. And slip stitch, like that. And I'm just going to do this all the way up until I get to my stitch markers. And then it'll be all sewed together where we need it to be sewed. So I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch it together just like this up to my stitch markers, and I'll meet you back up there. Okay, I made it back up here to my stitch markers, and I'm just going to go ahead and work a slip stitch in the stitch that the stitch markers are in. And then I'm going to tie it off. You can take your stitch markers out now. You don't need them anymore. Now I'm going to flip this right side out so we can take a look at the seam on it. See what it looks like. Okay. It's in a pretty nice seam. Now I'm going to go around this neck area again with a row of single crochet. So I'm just going to start right here into the corner. Go through both these loops here. And start by chaining 1. I'm going to go back into that same stitch and single crochet. And now I'm going to work my way around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch just around this neck area. Just like that until you get back down, go all the way around it until you get back to here. Okay, when you make it back around here to where you started, just go ahead and jump over and slip stitch into that first single crochet that you made, and we'll tie that off. like that, and then go ahead and hide your tails. Okay, now we're going to work around the whole bottom piece and get all these edges cleaned up. So I'm just going around the whole entire bottom that we haven't went around yet with single crochet, and I'm going to go around it with single crochet, and that will make it look nice and neat. So we're just going to do it the same way. You can kind of start in any area that you want. I'll just start right here, and I'm just going to go around and start with the chain 1 and go into the same stitch and single crochet. And I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Now I'm working right here where the stitches are facing this way, and where there's a chain 2 space, I'm just going to go right through the space and put 2 single crochets like that, and then I'll just keep working, put in 1 single crochet in every stitch and through the chain spaces. Since there were 2 chain spaces, it would be 2 single crochets. And I'm just going to do this all the way around, just like this. And this is going to make the edges look finished. I guess if you didn't really want to do this, to take the time to do it, you wouldn't have to. I'm sure it would look fine still, but I just think it makes it look cleaner by doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now the long side, when we get to that, I'll show you here. It's going to be right like over here when we eventually get to the round to this. It's going to be like we did before. It's going to be a row of the chain 3 and then the triple, chain 3, triple. Just do it like we did before, where we put 2 single crochets down the chain 3s, and we put 3 single crochets down the triples. So just do that along that big long side like we did before, and just do it like this down this side. I don't know what side you started on, it didn't really matter, but either side was fine. Just do the long side the same way we did the other long side, and then the 2 short sides are like this. The 2 short sides are connected now, so when you get to here, just continue single crocheting across to make it one straight edge. So I'm going to go around my whole piece like this and clean up all my edges that I haven't cleaned up yet, and then I'm going to sew some buttons on. Okay, I've made it all the way across the 2 short sides that are connected together with my single crochet. I just wanted to show you, when you go around the corner starting on your really long side, go ahead and put 3 single crochets in the corner stitch. That way it'll round the corner better. And then kind of start with your pattern of 1 single crochet in every stitch, just like that. And you want to do that at the other corner too. Okay, one last thing I did was I just sewed a couple buttons on. They're not functional, they're just for decoration, and you don't have to do that if you don't want to, or you could just do it buttons all the way down, however you want to do it, but they're just decoration. They don't work or anything. But that's it, that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and you can check me out on Facebook. I'll put the link to that below in the description box. And until next time, have a good day.